Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video in this Mastering Arabic series. In the past couple of videos, we've gone over a general overview of all the Arabic letters, a detailed look into the first and second half of the Arabic letters as well in episodes 1 to 3. So now in episode 4, what I want to do is go over the short and long vowels and also sukoon, shadda and madda with you guys. So this is what's actually going to basically give life to your Arabic, right? So when you read in the Quran, stuff like that, it's not just like ba, ta, tha. You also have bu, bi, thi, thu, right? You have all these different sounds. It's not just on every letter. And these vowels are going to, help you actually pronounce words and actually read texts. So after this, make sure you've mastered the previous videos and then, watch this video, really understand it. And then after this, you should be able to start reading some basic texts. Start reading some Quran, even if it's slowly. And then after this, all you have to do is just keep on practicing and getting your speed and fluency up over time. So short vowels in Arabic are basically used to pronounce different sounds on each letter, right? So just like in English, we have ta, ti, tu, right? It's not just ta every time you say the letter T. You have different sounds you make, right? Just to make words, right? Like for example, the word you, it's using an O sound, like you, right? It's not just, ya, right? There's different sounds you need to put on each letter. And the three short vowels that we use for these different sounds is fatha, kasra, and dhamma. So fatha makes a A sound and it goes above the letter. Kasra makes a E sound and goes below the letter. And dhamma makes a U sound and also goes above the letter, and it has this different type of shape, right? So an example would be, with the letter Ain. So with the letter Ain, if it has a fatha, it would make the sound Aya, Aya. If it has a kasra, it would make the sound Ari, Ari. And if it had a dhamma, it would make the sound Aru, Aru, like Ramar, right? So this is, these short vowels are basically how you actually make words and actually make meaning out of these different letters, right? So, here is how you would write a fatha on the letter Ain. As you can see, it's this kind of diagonal line on top. Then here's how you would write a kasra. It's like the same type of line but on the bottom. And then here's how you would write a dhamma, right? So this is like a curve with a little swirl at the end that goes on top, right? So you see this in Quran. If you open up Quran.com or something like that, you're going to go ahead and see this. You open up any mushaf, you're going to go ahead and see these above the letters. And this is basically telling you how do you pronounce it. You make aya, ari, aru, right? So this is how you actually read Quran or read any text. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to go over is long vowels. So long vowels are basically using alif, ya, or wow to stretch a sound longer, right? Because you don't always just want a short sound like lu or boo. You want like boo, right? Something like that. You want it to be longer, right? You want a longer vowel. For example, the word you, right? Because you is not, just like you. It's like you. It's longer. So you want that long vowel as well instead of just very short, right? So to do that, we can use ya, alif, and wow to, because ya, alif, and wow basically mirror fatha, kasra, and dhamma, right? They all make a similar type of sound. So what you can do is you can use them as consonants, but also as vowels. Just like, for example, y in English, right? You can use y as a consonant like yes, but you can also use it as a vowel, for example, in the word lovely. Right? In the word lovely, we're using the y to stretch out the e sound at the end to make it lovely. Right, but we're not saying like love liya. It's just there to stretch out the e sound at the end, right? So in the same way, we can do a similar thing in Arabic. So for example, we could use something like the word yaqulun, yaqulun. So this means they are saying, right, or they say. So we, if we just use dhammas, this is what it would sound like: yaqulun, yaqulun. But that doesn't mean anything, right? That's weird. It's not a word. So we want to stretch out that u and that lu. And to do that, we're going to add a wow in there to make it yaqulun, yaquluna, right? Right, yaquluna. So that's why, it's really important that we learn this. And I know you guys are really going to ask, how do we know when we're going to use it as a long vowel, and how do you know when we're going to use it as a consonant? Again, if you're using, Quran, mushaf with tajweed, it's probably going to be marked in there. Also, there won't be other markings on those vowels usually, right? So you won't see a fatha or kasra or dhamma on there because it's not making that sound. And then, the other last way to know is just common sense, right? Because if you see it, it's not going to be like yaku wa luan or something, right? It's kind of like you just get the feel of it, and it's kind of like you just know when it comes up, and you just, it's pretty obvious, right? Just like in English, right? It's not something that you're really going to be confused about as you practice more and more. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to talk about is a sukoon. So the point of a sukoon is basically to indicate that there is no vowel on the letter. Right, so as we can see here, the sukoon is basically this little round shape, or it's a crescent moon type of shape. And you'll know when you see it because it's not a fatha, dhamma, or kasra. It's a pretty distinctive shape. And what it's basically saying is do not pronounce this letter with any sort of vowel, right? It's saying stop here. So I think the best way to understand this is through examples. So the first one is the word laqad. You can see it right here, laqad. Lam, qaf, and dal. Right, so the sukoon on the dal is basically telling us stop at this dal. Right, if it was a fatha, it would be laqada. Right, if it was a dhamma, it would be laqadu. If it was a kasra, it would be laqadi. But instead, it's just a sukoon saying laqad. Laqad. Don't say anything further, just laqad. If you don't understand this one, here's another one, which is the word dunya. Dunya. Right, so in dunya, if you're South Asian, you know this word, right? The noon has a sukoon on it. So it's actually telling you stop at the noon. Don't say dunaya, don't say dunya, don't say dunuya, just say dunya. Stop at the end, make a stop sound. Dunya. Right? Another word here is a little bit harder, it's a'tad. A'tad. Right, there's an ayn in here, so I want to include this, a little bit difficult, right? So here you can see that there's a sukoon on the ayn. So it's telling us stop here, don't say a'ad. Right? Just say a'tad. Right? A'tad. You're stopping at the ayn. Right? And then there's another sukoon on the dal, which is telling you stop on the dal as well. Don't say a'tada. Right? Just say a'tad. And stop right there, like laqad. A'tad. Right, so whenever you see a sukoon, stop at that sound. Pronounce it, but then just stop. Don't put any extra vowel. Don't add a fatha. Don't add anything like that. Just stop. That's basically the purpose of the sukoon. Alright guys, I now want to talk to you guys about the shadda. So the shadda is really important because what it does is it actually doubles vowels, right? So it's this little squiggly sign as you can see here, and you basically put it above a letter, just like a fatha, dhamma, kasra, sukoon, whatever it is. And what it does is it makes that sound double. It makes two of that letter. So I think the best way to understand again is just with examples. So here's a really common word you see, which is alladhina. Alladhina. It means those who, right? Alladhina. But you see how there's a shadda actually on that first lam. Right? The reason why is because you're actually making two L sounds, right? It's like there's two L's in that word. It's not alladhina. Alladhina, it's alladhina, right? You're stopping and then you're continuing, right? If you want to kind of break it down, what it is it's basically an alif, then a lam with a sukoon, then a lam with a fatha, right? So alladhina, right? If you want to really break it down, that's what the shadda is doing, right? It's basically making two of that letter, whatever letter it's above, making the first one have a sukoon and the next one have a fatha or a kasra or whatever is there, right? So it can also be, used with a kasra or something. It doesn't always have to be a fatha, but in the case of alladhina, it has a fatha, right? So you can see we're kind of placing more emphasis and stretching the lam sound. Alladhina, right? And then without the shadda and just with a fatha, it would be alladhina, alladhina. But with the shadda, alladhina. Now I'm going to do another example for you guys. It's going to be rabbuhum, rabbuhum, rabbuhum. So as you guys can see here, now we have a shadda on this ba, and we are also using it with a dhamma. So again, it's like you're taking the ba, splitting it into two, having the first ba have a sukoon and the second one have a dhamma, right? That's what the shadda is basically doing here. So it's rabbuhum. And obviously, as you guys can see, the shadda can be put with another symbol like fatha, dhamma, or kasra to, indicate the next sound, right? So here you can see we're pausing on the ba and pronouncing it twice, right? Rabbuhum, rabbuhum. Right? Another last example would be the word jahannam. So with the word jahannam, there's actually a shadda here on the noon, just making us stretch it. Right? Without the shadda, it would just be jahannam, jahannam. Right? But with the shadda, it's jahannam, jahannam. You're stretching that on that noon. You're placing more emphasis on that noon. Right, so as you guys can see, just keep on practicing with the shadda, but it is really important for pronouncing words correctly and for actually sounding like, Arabic. Alright guys, so I'm now going to quickly touch on the madda. So the madda is basically the squiggly line that can go above letters, and what it does is it basically prolongs the sound to be very long. This is basically never used in spoken Arabic. Nobody really ever uses this. What this is mainly used for is in Quran and in tajweed and things like that. So for an example, we've all heard alif lam mim, right? That's an example of madda. because you're stretching it out, just saying, you know, for example, noon, qaf, right? You're stretching out the sound pretty long, right? That's the purpose of the madda. Again, no one's gonna really be using this in actual spoken Arabic. You're never gonna really see this outside of the Quran, but you know, this is something to know, right? Because if you're reading the Quran and you see this squiggly line, you're like, yo, what is this? I've never seen this. This is just what it does, right? It's just telling you stretch out the sound to be much longer, right? So it's basically, you know, just this very stretched out type of fatha type of sound, right? So, you know, again, I basically give you guys an example like alif lam mim or something like that, right? Where you're using the madda and you're just stretching out the sound very long. So this is pretty basic, right? But, you know, it's good to know if you encounter it here and there. Alright guys, so now we're going to practice a little bit. So I'm going to kind of give some words from the second ayah of Surah Al-Mulk and we'll practice. So firstly, alladhi. So we already did this before, but I kind of want to have you guys repeat it after me again, and I want to point out a couple of things here. So firstly, as you guys can see, we have a shadda on the lam, right? So this is making us kind of stress it for longer, alladhi, right? Secondly, over here we can see after the dal, we actually have a kind of ya, right? So what this is doing is it's acting as a long vowel. So that's why we're stretching it, right? We're not saying alladhiya or something. We're just using this as a stretch for the kasra. Alladhi, alladhi, right? Notice how we're not stretching as much as a madda or something like that, but we're just stretching it maybe for a second or something like that, right? To give a distinction between alladhi and alladhi, right? So alladhi, practice after me. Alladhi. Next we'll have the word khalaqa. So this is pretty easy, right? With this you want to make sure you're getting that kha sound really good from your throat right over here, like you're clearing out phlegm. Khalaqa, khalaqa. Next here we have al-maut, right? Al-maut. So here we have a couple of sukoons. Firstly on the first lam over here we can see we're saying al. And you guys might have heard this a lot in Arabic, right? Because it means the, right? Make something proper. So al, al. And then we have another sukoon here on the waw, making it maut, right? So we're not saying mawat or something like that, or mawit or moot. We're not saying that. We're saying maut, right? There's a fatha on the meme and then a sukoon on the waw, right? So al-maut. And then here it's simple wa, right? Very simple. And alladhi khalaq al-mauta wal hayat, right? So here we can see with al-hayat, same thing going on with the al, sukoon and the lam. And then with this ha, you really want to get the type of sound. Al-hayat, al-hayat. Right, then we have another long vowel here with this alif, right? Stretching out that ya sound. Al-hayat, al-hayat. Right, alladhi khalaq al-mawta wal-hayata. Alright guys, so to continue to improve in this, the only real way to do it is just to keep on reading, right? It's like throwing a free throw or something like that. Once you get the technique down, once you get the form down, once you know where to put your mouth, how to say the different letters, all you can really do is just keep on practicing over and over, just reading, and what will eventually happen is the neurons will make whatever connections, whatever happens in there will happen, and it'll become very easy and very, very fluent to read. You know, you can read it in your head without even, you know, vocalizing it. It'll be really, really rewarding once you get to that point. But to do that, you need to practice a lot and just read a lot. You know, maybe set like a page a day, or if you really want to go intense, you know, a lot more than that, maybe like 10 pages a day, something like that. Just sit and read, you know, and that'll really very quickly get you up to speed, right? And it's just a very linear thing of just the more time you put into reading, the better you will get. If you want some more guidance on pronunciation, you can search up the CSUSM pronunciation guide. It's a really good pronunciation guide out there. You know, it might help you if my explanations are a little bit difficult for you to understand or I'm not explaining it correctly. Alright guys, so in the next video I'm going to be talking about pronouncing Arabic in classical text. I'm going to be talking about everything from the importance of correct pronunciation in classical text to, you know, common mistakes to tips and tricks for improving. So stay tuned for that. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know how this is going in the comments and if you need help from me or anything like that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.